back after our summer vacation, our paid time off, our PTO, to talk wrestling on this fine Tuesday night, July 22nd. Botch Wrestling Podcast. I'm Jim. That's Dan. We're back. A lot has gone on. A lot has gone on since we've took a little bit of a hiatus there, Daniel. I guess if we're backtracking to when we took time off, the big event. I mean, obviously we missed Raw, SmackDown, and NXT shows, right? But the big event was WWE's Evolution, right? That was a big one that weekend. Was that combined with anything else? Well, there was the Saturday night main event, and then WWE Evolution, right?
Then elimination the next day, or evolution the next day.
Yeah, so that's how it planned out. So I guess not to harp on it too much because I know it's already been done. But overall, watching Evolution, what were your thoughts? What'd you think? Do you think they should be like? Because I guess a lot of the chatter from this was, should this be an every year thing? I think Bailey or Charlotte said this maybe should be an every 2 to 3 year thing. But what are your thoughts about giving them the stage every year? You know, what did you think? What did you like about it? Was there anything that you didn't like, and so on and so on?
Yeah, no, I thought it was good. I mean, whether or not it could be a yearly thing, I actually don't see why it couldn't be a yearly thing. As long as they keep on making sure they develop and push the women's divisions, and
Yeah.
obviously they have the TNA tie-in a little bit
Yeah.
too. So, um, I don't see why you couldn't do it once a year. Maybe it's a little more special if you do it every couple of years, but I also don't know that you want to. I mean, I think what you do is they probably won't do this, but I think you may want to maybe replace a different PLE and do this every year, once a year, and make it something a little special. It was a pretty, for all intents and purposes, it was a pretty stacked card, at least on paper. Um, you know, I think it had its ups and downs, but I thought overall it was pretty good. I didn't watch it live. I had to watch it back. Um, but I think he gave you what a pay per view was, and he had some good stuff. I mean, he definitely. I mean, I think you and I talked about it during it. A lot of the outcomes did not go the way we thought.
No, I was wrong on every single one. Every single one.
Yeah, and I did not. I guess it never even crossed my mind about a cash in by Naomi. So
Right.
that really got me going.
Right.
But
Agreed.
you know, but yeah, I pretty sure I think the only one we actually would have been right on was Tiffy, but I don't think either of us thought Trish was going to win. But I don't remember
No,
specifically.
yeah, that was the only one. Everything else,
No.
yeah.
Well, and Jade, I think we kind of knew Jade too, but um, or we assumed Jade.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and we thought Jordan Grace was going to take the NXT title.
yeah, so we were wrong on
Wild.
that, right? Right, we were wrong on that. I thought we both thought Bailey too. We were wrong
Yep.
on that, right? We didn't think Judgment Day was gonna hold the women's title. I think
Right.
I I I think we had different answers, but we both agreed they weren't gonna hold, and they did.
Right.
Tiffy we knew, but that was just to get Trish on the card. Jade we kind of knew, but that match definitely took a twist, with Bianca being involved and it being no holds barred.
Yeah.
And um, I well, now that I think about it, I think we would have been. I think we were mostly right about the battle royal. I think we thought it was going to be Stephanie Vacker, right? Like most likely,
We
it was
said
going
she
to
would
be
be in the
her.
final three. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, then Naomi cashing in was like, I did not
Which,
even. I don't know
no.
why, but I did not even not even a passing thought. Maybe because she had the match earlier, like not even a passing thought that she was going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I thought for sure Rhea was taking it, and that was just going to be Rhea's get back. But
Yeah.
overall, I thought it was a good card. I mean, shout out. Not that. I mean, I know you watch it more frequently than I do, so you already know this. I'm sure a lot of listeners would know this, but like shout out Sol Ruka because she's just really fun to watch.
She's phenomenal, isn't she?
Yeah.
That
She was very phenomenal in that match too. In the
that
tag match.
finishing move is just outrageous. She just throws her body off of anywhere and she pulls it out perfectly every time, right? But that's like just comes from all the practice that gets put in the development center and down at NXT that we don't see, right? So yeah, she's just honest to God, I can't wait for her to get pulled up because imagine her being like the second or third last match on the second night of WrestleMania, and she goes and pulls that off to win a title. Her brand alone for the WWE would just be printing cash for the next decade, with just how smooth that is, right? Like, and she could be in the ring with anybody. She could be in the ring with the Bruiser, like Rayo. She could be in the ring with Io Sky. She could be in the ring with Valkyrie. If Trish comes back again, she can carry Trish. Like, yeah, absolutely. She's just so good. So good. And I can't stop preaching about what she does in the ring. And it's a cool little tag team that they have with, so Ruka and Zarya. Like, Zarya is the big protector that's always there for her. Kind of like a bodyguard, right? Like how Diesel was there for Shawn, right? So it fits perfectly. And it's like, and because she's playing this bodyguard role, we haven't seen what Zarya can do yet because she's in this bodyguard role. So, and she's been tossing people when she gets the opportunity. So just imagine if Shawn ever gives her the green light and says, "Okay, go do what we see you do around the developmental center." Yeah, no, So going into it, I had some fear that maybe the stage would have been a little bit too big for some of them, especially those from NXT, and we might see some slip ups or missteps here. But overall, I give the card like an 8.5 or 9 out of 10. That Io Sky and Rhea match, I think if you put both men and women's together for the past year, I think that match has to be a top 3 for the past year. They were so good in that match. Just the back and forth, the pounding that they all took, like just the counter after counter after counter on the finishers. And then how it actually ended as well. Like that surprise that people forgot that Naomi had the briefcase. Uh, Utterly ridiculously good. Like that's a top 3 for both men and women. For I don't know. I was trying to think about this the other day. Like maybe even the last 2 or 3 years. I guess you can say the surprise of what happened at the end is behind what happened when Cody won the title, when we got all of the Hall of Famers that showed up to like help him out, because it seems like everybody forgot Naomi had the title, and it's actually the perfect disguise, right? Because who would have thought Naomi would cash in the same day she got destroyed in a no holds barred contest, right? Like that's the perfect match to provide a cover for your character because you know you're going to take a beating in that match. So the chances that you go on later in the card to cash in, very slim. Very, very, very slim, right? But I can't lie, the first time when she came down the ramp, the first thing I did, I turned to my dad and I said, please don't turn this into Austin Theory. I just didn't want her to try and cash in and then the cash in not work. And then she's kind of made like looking like a joke because her cash in didn't work. Like if she was cashing in, I wanted her to cash in. And I'm glad she did. It was wild because I forgot she had it, like I said, but absolutely wild. Um, yeah, I mean Becky, Bailey, and Lyra were pretty good. To be honest, I think they were the slowest one on that match. That women's tag team match had to be the second best match. Um, and I guess that the way Jordan Grace hit you, it looks like it hurts for a very long time. For even those like forearm, like just those forearm shots she gives you, that looks like you're gonna be very uncomfortable the next day when you wake up, no matter where she hits you with them. Um, so yeah, overall, I agree. Good card. 8.5, 9 out of 10, I think. I would be okay with it. Um, but the thing is, I think you need. So what do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would be okay with them doing it every year if they had a 5 title storyline to do. 5 titles and the storylines that go with them to do every year. I think if you get below 4, I think that card kind of seems kind of vacant. But I think you need to write storylines that lead to title changes or title defenses to fit this card, and then I think it fits perfectly, right? Because it gives them their time to shine. Because we always hear that say there's 16, 17 matches that they have stored for WrestleMania, and 9 of them get cut, right? Like we always hear about that, and unfortunately, it sometimes happens to the women's side of the card more times than not. So like this actually gives them the opportunity to be like, hey, we can do this too. Like you may not come and watch us on Tuesday nights or on Wednesday nights on Evolve or Sundays on LFG, but we can do this too. Um, but yeah, I was a big fan of it. I liked the idea of it. Um, I liked how they set it up too, being the end cap for the weekend, right? Like I think that's a cool thing too for a pay per view card or a PLE. Is like you're getting wrestling Friday night SmackDown, Saturday whatever it is, and then you get the big show on Sunday evening. Like that's awesome. I enjoy that quite a bit. So kudos to them. Well done to everybody involved. Sean and Hunter, you put on a hell of a card. Um, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see who comes up from this card, right? Like, do you think the JC Jane and Jordan Grace thing was Jordan? Like, that's just Jordan Grace's chance, and now she's just gonna slowly get bumped up here? Because I thought they were gonna put her on like the Tiffany Stratus or the Tiffany Stratton type timetable of like, you know, she shows the
Well,
goods, and then yeah,
I assume like that's probably not over. I mean, because if you fast forward to Slammiversary, then JC Jane goes on to win that match too, and
yeah,
now is carrying both titles. So
yeah.
I'm thinking,
Jordan Grace goes take TNA back.
yeah, that's just not over yet. There's obviously more to come because I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I don't think we were going to talk too much about Slammiversary. Um, but jumping ahead a little bit, TNA does not have a top champion in their men's or women's division right now. They're both NXT members. So
Correct. They're getting ready for the
you know,
WWE acquisition after that contract's out, then, because I do have that to talk about later as well.
okay, yeah. So I mean, like I would assume this story is not over on both sides, and maybe you see a little bit of a mini TNA invasion. Like we've got to take back our brand, from the big bad WWE machine, via NXT, right? Like,
Yep.
and there's more going on there, and obviously, like it's not over because I would assume too that it's not over with AJ Styles yet with TNA, and
No.
you know, you know, I know this is more of a TNA thing, but I thought Devon Dudley still is involved with WWE, right? So you're going to get Dudleys and the Hardys later this year, one last time, and remains to be seen what's happening with Zilla, but obviously he was there too. So, um,
Quick question on that. Do you believe the beef between him and Bubba? Or do you think that's just propping up Zilla? We can save that to the end of the show if you want, but I just
yeah, yeah,
with how like with how he was talking about that, I was like, that's tough. So yeah, no, yeah. So I guess did you see? So to tie this into TNA, the president of TNA has been taking a lot of slack about why does TNA not have any titles now. And it's kind of like, guys, like, do you really think he's gonna, like, how long have you been watching wrestling, right? Like, do you think it's gonna stay this way? You know what I mean? I don't think so. I don't. I don't know. I don't think so. I think. I think TNA is. I've been telling this for a while. I think TNA, and because I have an Eric Bischoff comment to talk about later on, but before we jump ahead, like you said, I think TNA is the next big announcement as being under the WWE umbrella. So we could get there, but if you were writing this, what would you do? Would you do an invasion angle? Would you send Jordan Grace back to help out TNA? Because then technically it's like, well, Jordan's back to help TNA, but she left us to go sign for WWE. Tessa Blanchard is supposedly suspended indefinitely. So.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it would be like a true invasion angle, but I think it would be a coming together of some top TNA people to keep showing up and fighting out to say we're getting our company titles back, right? Like, and I know I read a lot online, like it seemed like there was a lot of pressure, or not pressure, but a lot of people that really wanted Santana to win that match. So I wonder if that's where it's headed. But you need maybe Joe Hendry to realize it's better for him to get behind and push someone, you know, and help Santana claim the title back, and then him and I can fight it out for the title later when it's back home.
Right.
Right? Like you put aside your grievances or
Just
your
bring it
issues
home.
or
Right.
whatever,
Just bring it
right?
home.
For the good of, right? It's like it's what we get, what we always got at Survivor Series, right? Like teams would be put together, or like when for the few times that they did brand versus brand, right? All these guys that were guys and girls that were fighting with each other, we're putting that all aside to win at Survivor Series, right? So you kind of do that, and then the same thing on the women's side. Like, who wants to probably help Jordan go into enemy territory and take back, what it is? Or real crazy here, but I'm just like shooting off the top of my head here. What if you do a mixed tag for both titles? Tag team keeps, retains, whatever you want to say.
Well, and
You let Jordan and Santana or whoever fight Trick and JC Jane, and the winners get their titles. That'd be interesting. But I'm also still waiting for like the big NXT title. Well, I guess
it's on Oba.
I'm waiting for the big NXT title. No, to go to TNA.
I don't think they're.
NXT title. You know.
Yeah, I don't think they'll take it off of Oba. Supposedly, from what everything I keep reading, like they say he's the company star for the next 20 years, which is fine. But I think his character is gonna get stale. I like sometimes all I keep thinking is he's a more athletic version of the Great Khali. Like that's how I see him down the road. So he needs to add something. But funny that you bring it up. Did you see what's going on SummerSlam weekend for Bloodsport? A little WWE TNA. Natty Neidhart versus Masha Slamovich. And Natty's quote. Let me pull this up. Natty had a quote that's saying, "Some people have to die for Natty to live." Natty's getting. She loves this Bloodsport shit, man. She loves Bloodsport. Like
Quite, quite a little dark.
she loves Bloodsport. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be
Agreed.
insane. It's gonna be insane. It's yeah. Others have to die for Natty to live. And she did like a video in like the back corner of like a GCW wrestling academy. Yeah, bro. She's something, man. Which is so funny. Side note, she puts her location on her Twitter as being the dungeon. That's funny. Um yeah, yeah, but then we're getting the whole come out thing when the Undertaker came out to basically go face to face with Trick. So it's like, what are we doing? Like, Taker can't go.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if anything, Taker should have came out, and then Jasper Troy should have been walking out right in back of him because that was his guy that won on the first season on LFG. So not only do you get the crowd buzzing for Taker, then you just transfer that to Jasper Troy now because then he's seen as Taker's guy, right? And Taker doesn't
Agreed.
always have to be there. That could just be one big thing, and it's not like Jasper Troy has to fight Trick right away. That could be something down the line you build to a year or two from now. But like, I don't know what they were doing with the Taker thing. Um, but yeah, it's something, man. It's like overall before we jump to like the Bane roster stuff. And I have some Slammiversary stuff. But like, how do you think wrestling's been going in general so far for WWE? You think they've been still hitting on everything, or anything you find slow or whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I'd say they're hitting on everything. I think things are slowing a little bit, but I think it's post mania,
Yeah.
you know, hangover a little bit still. I mean, I know it's been 3 months, but like this is what happened. You know, as Triple H said, like, oh, WrestleMania season ends, and 5 minutes later, and then it starts again. But like that, I guess, is true. But in the beginning, it's you know, it's always slower right after WrestleMania because you have your big payoffs
Yeah.
typically. You have a lot that has happened. You've had a 2 night show, long amount of wrestling. You usually have a big NXT pay per view moved in there somewhere, right? And then you don't have anything until August.
Mm-hmm.
Any big show until August, right? So you get Backlash, but like Backlash is usually just a rehash of what happened at WrestleMania, right? Like you get a lot of either rematches or like shoot offs of what happened at WrestleMania. Fine, but nothing crazy. Then I guess you don't get anything in July, right? Like June or July. Or no, what did we? Oh, we got Money in the Bank, right?
Well, and you just got Evolution for WWE, so
Well, Evolution, but
it's a one-off thing. Yeah.
currently, yeah, since it currently doesn't happen every year, so I guess you get Money in the Bank, right? Um,
Yeah, and then
or
currently
Money in the Bank before.
Saturday night main events. But yeah,
Yeah, now they've added that, but I mean, again, those
yeah,
they're what
uh,
once a quarter, but they tend to be they're 2 hour shows,
yeah.
so
June. Yeah, the first weekend in June was Money in the Bank.
you get that. I guess that's a little bit of a big deal, um, but then you get nothing till August. So you went from like big WrestleMania in April, Backlash, which is whatever, Money in the Bank, good, but then you get nothing until August, nothing big until August. So it drags a little
Mm-hmm.
for sure as they're setting things up and they're whatever. Um, so yeah, I guess they're not hitting on all cylinders, but I don't know necessarily that they need to be right now either.
That's a
I
good
guess is
point.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You know,
it's like
like
spring training for them at this point, right?
right, and it doesn't help with whatever's going on with Seth, and obviously changing some things.
So yeah,
It should pick up now. Roman's back, right? Like Roman's back again. Not really sure what's going to happen with Cody and Cena at SummerSlam, so that's going to be interesting. So I don't know where we're going with everything yet. So I think after SummerSlam, it'll start to pick up again. You get into something kind of crazy for Survivor Series. Um, and then next thing you know, you're at the Rumble. And once you're at the Rumble, then it's full speed ahead. And then it gets hot and heavy until WrestleMania. So I think once we get past SummerSlam, it'll start, or when we get to SummerSlam, it'll really start picking up again. But we'll see too. What's it going to be like with a 2-night SummerSlam? First ever 2-night SummerSlam.
yeah, because the
Is it gonna be too much? Is it gonna be um is it gonna be too much because we're so trained to only think of WrestleMania to be like 2 nights like that? And is a real like true 2-night event? We'll see.
yeah, it's gonna be something. Um, right? Because all the big fours or big four, big five are all 2 nights this coming year, right?
Right.
So that'd
Well,
be.
I don't is that confirmed for Survivor Series?
I thought it was. What would that be?
I don't
Survivor
think it was.
Series 2025, right? Year.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry. November 29th.
Yeah, I think right now, I think we've talked about it. I think the big four are all going to two
Two.
nights
Yeah.
eventually, because they might. Did they say 2-night Royal Rumble? Not this coming year, but the one after maybe.
Yeah, because that's the one that's away, right?
Actually, no. This is saying that there's no 2-night Royal Rumble announced yet, but they reportedly are considering it. I would think all of them.
Yeah, they said.
Saying Money
Yeah.
in the Bank could move to 2 nights.
Yeah, by 2027. Yeah.
That's
It's becoming more of an
I wouldn't.
entertainment brand than an actual fight brand anymore, Dan. Right? Like they're. This is.
That's
And
just
this
a
is how
lot. I
it
mean,
is. It is.
I get. Well, I don't. I don't like it. I personally don't like it, but I could tolerate it for the big four. If it's gonna be more than that, I really don't like it. I don't think it's necessarily needed for
What if they
anything other than
What
WrestleMania.
if they got 2 out of the big four or 3 out of the big four, and then they pick and choose one other show throughout the year?
I guess, but like, I know Money in the Bank's becoming a much bigger deal. Like maybe Money in the
It's
Bank is becoming more
not to me.
of a of a tent pole. Well, I think to them, right? Because they're setting up these stories for somebody to have this like potentially. I mean, right now, I mean, obviously, like Naomi's was quick, but Seth's is going to be a long cash in, obviously. Um,
Did you see? I forget the wrestling
I
podcast there. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go on.
no, I was just going to say, just to answer your question, I don't think I would like. Generally speaking, I don't want more 2-night events. I can justify it for the big four, but I don't like it at all. I don't like it.
I'm just afraid of it getting stale, and not so much the product, like the actual characters themselves. So you don't look forward to the actual characters. Um, there was somewhere, I forget where I saw this, but I think somebody said that they should let Seth Rollins' Money in the Bank expire to show that like it can actually expire.
That'd be wild too.
Yeah.
That'd be wild too.
Yeah.
Just that it expires, like basically,
Just that it's like
it's good until the next match, right? Like
yeah.
the next Money in the Bank match. So like,
Yeah, full year, right? And like is it like we hit that weekend, So he can't cash in that weekend because it's expired? Or does that weekend still count and it's after that?
My guess would be is it's until a new Money in the
In
Bank
the bank
winner.
winner. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. So if there's a title
Which
match, the first
ironically,
match
what
of
you
that card,
do,
and he's cashes in the first match of that card, that
right?
counts.
Yeah,
So then
I
that
think
Money in the
so.
Bank person can cash in on him later on that night.
In theory, yeah. Or what they could do, because I guess it says for a championship match, but I mean, obviously they bend the rules all the time. You
Yeah.
could cash in to join the new Money in the Bank match at any point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Why not? You had Brock Lesnar come down and win it without even being in the match.
Whoa, 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 Dan. I don't know if you saw this week, but Brock is reportedly banned from WWE,
Oh, from
as Daniel
TKO. TKO,
Cormier
he
said.
denied
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So,
Apparently.
but yeah, back to Evolution. Good. Everything's. I share the same sentiments with this stuff. What did you want to move on to Trick? Oh, real quick. Is it wild to you, like when we tune into like the TNA stuff, we see Mance Warner in a big time batch?
It's not to me only because I have seen him just pop up in a lot of places over the years. And I mean, I know we saw him on an indie show, right? Because he was at
Yeah, that's
ESW that one time.
that's the day I took my first bump,
Yeah, yeah.
and
So
and then you yelled at me for hitting the guy on the floor with the guardrail.
yes, I didn't want to get kicked out.
He would get kick us out.
I
Like it's
him as
wild
like
to
he
me.
kind of popped up in AEW a few times too, and he had a pretty good reaction. I think he's just like I mean, he's a journeyman in the indie scene, and I think he's popped up in Ring of Honor in the past. He's popped up in TNA a bunch. He's popped up in like PWG. He's popped up in a lot of well-known smaller or well-known independent scenes, right? So he's not a Matt Cardona, but he's probably only a peg or two down from that. And he never was in WWE that I know of, at least, right? Like he was never in a real run in WWE. If he was ever there, it wasn't anything crazy.
No, he
Oh, he was in MLW, which
yeah.
for a little while had some notoriety because of all the people they had, and
Yeah,
Vince was a part of it.
I just think it's because we saw him at the ESW shows a couple times. Like it's still, I'm just like, oh hell yeah, that's a Buffalo guy. Like that's what I just referred to him as when I told my dad about him. Like yeah, that's a Buffalo guy. Like, and I don't think he's
Yeah,
from here, but like I just call him a Buffalo guy because he's been at ESW for like their biggest shows. Do you know who
yeah.
his
You know why? You know why too,
fiance
though?
is?
It's because of no, but I was just looking at
Which
his Wikipedia
it's
page.
kind of funny that you pulled up Cardona. So his female bodyguard at the time, Steph De Lander,
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah,
his
Steph Smith.
fiance. Yeah, which
Yeah.
is kind of funny. I was like,
So,
oh, look at that. Dan does know.
and the other reason I know him more is because I forgot. I mean, I forgot about this, but now that he was pretty predominant in GCW too.
Yes.
So you saw him through that. He was in. I'm looking at his profile now. CZW, right? Like I said, he popped up in AEW, popped up in MLW. He's just popped up in a lot of independents. But I think too, he was GCW for a while, and this is saying he was GCW's world champion for a bit. So I think that's where a lot of it came from.
You
And
know what?
he's great at death match type stuff, extreme rules.
This gives me hope, Dan. You know, this gives me hope for the greatest wrestler to never officially get his shot. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
Sexy Eddie, and that's with 3 X's.
Here we go. I don't think so, but you know.
He will never be getting a call to the WWE.
No, I'm not sure Mance Warner will either.
No,
So,
but he has a lot better chance than Sexy Eddie. Let's
not
like
gonna
if we're
get
just
Sexy Eddie.
yeah. Oh, then
Not with that gimmick.
yeah.
Not with that gimmick.
Yeah. They already got rid of Vince McMahon. They don't need a Vince McMahon in the ring. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think Netflix and
Yeah.
USA are interested in seeing this guy's nuts.
Yeah. 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 Him dangling
Don't get
his
me
nuts
wrong,
on
but
people's head. Yeah. Exactly.
you know,
Yeah. But yeah, I always
and
get I'm like I always get, oh, that's awesome. Like, right? Like, I'm just glad. And you know what? I think he'll be good. Like, I don't know, like just off the top of my head, like, what if you gave Karen another faction, and you did it like a straight edge type thing, but they don't have to call themselves straight edge, and you give him somebody like Mance Warner, right? Like, you give him to Karrion so Karrion can teach him everything he's been through. Because let's be honest, Karrion getting a title shot for either Gunther's title or Cody's title, what would you say? Slim to none right now, and probably going forward in the future. As I see Karrion possibly getting the U.S. title one day, I don't know if he goes higher than that, right? I just don't think they view him as that. I think they view him as
probably
like a
not. Although
filling guy. But he's
I don't
great.
know.
He's great. But it's like, barring any like injuries to top guys, I just don't know if Karrion gets to that level, right? But I don't think Karrion getting it to that level will hurt his chances of like a Hall of Fame or for him being remembered because he's just that good in the ring. People just know who he is, right? So I don't know. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think to tie this all back together, I think I'm more intrigued about all the different ways that this TNA WWE stuff could play out, right? Not only through NXT, but then like NXT up to the main roster. Because then say like NXT has to go get backup, right? Can you imagine if WWE is getting attacked on NXT and all of a sudden you hear the tribal chief music sound and you get the tribal chief just standing there, right?
Yeah.
Or if they tie it into somehow, um, if they tie it into somehow they get Cena involved, right? Like, because Joe Hendry always he wants a chance with Cena, and they can't say like that will hurt the character's career. I mean, they had Kurt Angle there, right? So it's like there's legacies to be built between these three brands. I feel like, and it's gonna be awesome to see in the future. Um, and then TNA supposedly, from what I read, has a great relationship with GCW as well. So can you imagine GCW one day getting acquired or getting like a partnership with TNA, which means they technically have a partnership with WWE then in a roundabout way. So it's like you get all those guys' experience, you get all those like it's like you're just set. You just own everything, right? So it's like it's crazy, 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 crazy. But I'm here for all of it. Here for all of it. Did you want to get to main roster stuff right now? Did you want to talk about Raw, or did you want to talk about how the SummerSlam cards shaping up? What did you want to get to here?
I mean, let's just dive into SummerSlam because we'll probably talk a little bit about Raw as we talk
Okay.
about the setup.
So here's the quick hits of how it's looking. Undisputed WWE Championship, Cena versus Cody, Street Fight, WWE Women's Championship, Tiffy Stratton versus Jade Cargill, Women's World Champion, Naomi versus Rhea versus Io. I think that's going to be great. World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther versus Punk. women's IC champion. You got Becky versus Lyra versus. Oh no, Becky versus Lyra in a no DQ match. And if Becky beats Lyra, she can never challenge for the IC title again. You got RK Roll, aka Randy Orton and Jelly Roll, versus Drew and Logan Paul. You got the IC title for the men's as Dominic versus AJ. Women's Tag Team Championships, Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. And then you got the U.S. Championship, Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu. What do you think about this? Pretty heavy card, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, it's got to be for 2 nights.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. This is pretty nuts. Yeah, let's run through this. What do you think? Cody versus John. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's Cena. Like, I just don't see him losing it yet. I mean, barring some crazy curveball that I'm not thinking, barring The Rock showing back up, and Cody. I actually I never like. It's crazy. Uh, it's crazy to say this but I never thought I'd necessarily have to fact check like wrestling rumors, but was that real that Cody was wearing like the watch that Rock
Oh, the stuff I
like
sent you. Yeah, the
unfolded?
glasses. Yeah, the watch.
Yeah, I saw that all over too. So, um, you know, so barring like the Rock's coming and Cody is actually swerving and he really did sell his soul in the end, and now it puts Cena back on the good side. Um, I just don't see Cena losing it. Um, at this point.
I think this is where Cody goes bad. And I think Cody gets it. I'm going to be honest. Because anytime they've been talking about something, like, or talking about an event, or talking about whatever, or talking about, like, the Usos getting into it, a few weeks later, it's happened. And I think Cody's been talking about it a lot on his podcast, a different podcast, like, that fans are eventually going to see, you know, that side of him. I think this is where it starts. I don't like. I don't know. I don't know how. I haven't played that out in my head yet, but I think this is how it starts, and I don't think it involves the final boss. I think Cody has something up his sleeve.
Yeah, I don't think um I don't think we're gonna get The Rock at SummerSlam.
I
I
don't
think
either.
if those teases were purposeful, I think it's for later.
Yep.
You know, um, I could see I could see them doing it down the road with Cody and The Rock and Roman then coming out of the woodwork to say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa," and then you get Roman Rock eventually if that's what they think they can do. Um,
What if Cody uses Roman that night, but we don't get The Rock?
I don't know.
Right. Like I just think it's the start of it. Um. Yeah. I think I don't know. Because then here's the thing, right? Because then if John gets past Cody here in a street fight and anything goes, Cody's not going to be the guy that takes it off of John when it's all said and done. Right? Like, because it doesn't make sense. Like, that's a lot to put Cody through, and he doesn't get it done then, but then he gets it done at, like, the Boston card. So, I don't know. I don't know. It'll be interesting going forward. We'll have to see what happens. Um, Women's Championship, Tiffy versus Jade. Are you thinking the switch is happening?
Um, yeah, yeah, I do. I think they've been, they've been propping Jade up
Yeah.
for a long time, getting her ready. Um, yeah, I do think it's gonna happen.
All right. So you think John, right, for the first one?
I do.
Okay. I'm just trying to keep track here. I think Jade as well. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Tiffy afterwards. I'll be very surprised if Tiffy keeps it, but we'll see. Women's World Championship, Naomi versus Rhea versus Io Sky. I'm saying Rhea. What are your thoughts, Dan?
I'm like so torn on this because like been so wrong about this like
Yeah.
ecosphere of the women's
Yes.
world championship
Yes.
for
Agreed.
so long. It's driving me nuts. I just keep thinking I'm gonna do it again. I think it's
Rhea.
Rhea.
Yeah. Me too.
Sucks for Naomi, but I think it's Rhea.
Me too. Me too. Um, Gunther versus Punk.
I think it's Punk. I think it's Punk.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
I mean, I think it's time, right? I think it's time. I think they didn't want to take it off Jay, right? Like, and
I think.
maybe there was a chance for Seth to cash in. I guess until a year from now when the next version of Unreal comes out or whatever the name of that show is with the backstage stuff. Um,
Yeah, that starts in a week. By the way.
yeah. I guess we'll never know for sure, unless somebody spills the beans. But if Seth was going to cash in, then maybe I'd have a little bit of a different answer. But although I just don't know how many times they're going to put Punk in a championship match and not have him win. So, yeah, I think this is Punk, and
Or what
I
if
think it's clean too.
what if all you hear is "burn it down" and then he comes running?
So I was going to ask you that, and
I don't think
this
it's
is
real.
what
Or I'm sorry,
this is
I don't
what
think that is gonna become real. Is what I'm saying.
yeah, I this is what is becoming great again about
Yes.
wrestling in the sense of like you don't always know for sure what is story and what is
Right.
work and
Right.
what's real and for the most part like we all have our guesses, we all can see where stories are going,
Right.
and we get that, and we can still enjoy the ride because they do throw curveballs once in a while and whatever, but or the way they do things, even though it's the same result, the way they got to the result is whatever. There it is, like in my opinion, just scrolling through X and scrolling through Instagram. I don't really do the Reddit thing for wrestling, but scrolling through, it feels to me like it's 50-50 people who think it's real and people think it's the most intricate work of the world, right? Like that 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 they actually purposely had him do that during that match with LA Knight, that they didn't tell people like the ref or LA Knight or anyone, so that the reactions would look real, the crowd would be different, right? Like and like now of course caused me to like go back and start to look at that again and like try to, which is such a waste of time, but it's fun, and then that's what makes this whole thing fun. Go back and listen closely to the commentaries surrounding it. Did it seem real, or did it seem like they were kind of prompted to say certain things. And I got to be honest, I thought this from the very beginning. I don't actually see his knee buckle all that much. I'm not saying it's a work. I don't know what I think.
I
Like as far
I
as
don't think it buckled.
but like
It did pinch to where I've seen it in person to where somebody's playing it wrong and they immediately pull up their leg and they grab the
yeah. No,
kneecap.
I mean that part I don't disagree with. I mean, I don't think it has to buckle for you to tear
No.
something, and it right. Like I understand that.
Yeah.
Like I agree with that. But as I'm watching it, I actually thought that the first move he did, like the swanton type looking thing or the
Where
senton
it,
type looking thing,
where his
it
foot
looked like
smacked the apron.
his yeah, like his
So
leg kind of went cockeyed on
yeah.
that landing, and then he stood up to do the next one, and I'm like, so what I originally thought was like he actually tore it on the first move, but didn't feel it until the second move because he landed flat-footed, you know. But I don't know. I've watched the video clip and I've listened to like Cole and Wade Barrett a bunch to sit there and go, all I know is now I'm not sure, right? I don't know how I feel. Like I think it's legit, but now I don't know. So, but sitting there thinking like, you know, and then he does the interview, right? And he says like, "Oh, we don't know yet, but you know, there's too much swelling," which is all real. Like that's how it works. You don't get
Mm-hmm.
good MRIs until the swelling goes down. Like, "Oh, we're not sure, but it feels like something that's going to keep me out of for a long time." Then you get last night and you get Paul saying what he's saying, and I'm sitting here going, well, if nothing else, they're feeding into the 50% that think it's a work,
Mm-hmm.
right? And letting that continue to breathe just for the hell of it. Or that's really happening. And come Sunday or come SummerSlam, you are going to hear Burn It Down during this match or right after it. Um, and if Punk wins and then Seth cashes in, that'll suck for Punk. You know, if Seth interrupts and makes it a triple threat and then wins, that sucks for Punk. But that crowd would go crazy. If this was all the work, done very well, and we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been reading that stuff. I think he is hurt. I feel bad for it because he just recovered from the other D getting cleaned up. Um, so hopefully he's back sooner than what's expected, but he's back healthy. Um, so we'll see what goes there. Um, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. By the way, since we're talking about that faction, what did you think of Roman's promo to Paul?
I thought it was good. I thought it was real good. I also have, and maybe I'm just being obtuse about this, but like I have zero interest in Roman and Jey Uso fighting Ron Breaker and
Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed at SummerSlam if that's where this is
I'm
headed.
thinking Paul goes and gets somebody else.
Okay, because I mean,
No,
even then I'm not.
I think that's what we get at SummerSlam, but I think Paul goes and gets somebody else
Oh,
as like
yeah, I just
to.
have zero interest in that match.
Can I tell
Um,
you though? I love the way Roman talks to Braun in the ring. Settle down,
oh yeah,
Junior. Like settle.
Junior son,
and
right?
then
Like son, like
and then the camera guy.
I'm not gonna tell you again, son. I was like,
Yeah,
oh man,
and
it's
then
like
the
ultimate disrespect for grown men, right?
yeah, and then the camera guy turns back to Braun, and Braun goes, "I will tear your face off." Like that's what he says to him, and
Yeah,
Roman just looks at him like.
yeah.
But and it's
No, it's
hysterical.
great.
Hysterical. Braun squared up with him and said he's the big dog now, and Roman is 3 times the size as Braun Breaker. It's like, buddy,
Yeah,
you're not even the Chihuahua to this Great Dane over here right now. Like, yes, you are a specimen for your size and for what you can do in the ring, but this is a dip. Like, this guy was chiseled. Like Hollywood got him this big. You don't have the Hollywood type, syringes that are being passed around right now. Like this is a different plateau that you might not ever get to, buddy. Like I laughed so hard today when I was watching it and they squared up and he's like 2 to 3 times the size of Braun Breaker, and it's like the camera guy didn't have to do Braun Breaker like that. Like he did not have to do him like that. But then Roman backstage when he was dapping up Stu when he returned, that's awesome. But yeah, great promo. I was trying to think. There was something else I wanted to bring up to you about it. How do you think he? How, do you think Paul's scheming something now since Roman basically called him out and called him a dumbass and gave Sami Zayn more credit than Paul Heyman? Because that's what pissed Paul off in the promo. If you remember Paul's reaction. And then he goes, I know that one would have got to him. Or I know that one got to him. Or something like that.
Yeah. Right.
It was good. It was good. I mean, he's still good on the mic. Even coming back, he's still great. Like,
I don't think do you think if Seth hadn't gotten hurt that this was going to be a 6-man tag, Roman, Jay, and somebody to be determined versus Seth and those two?
I think Seth trying to cash in at Summer. I will bet my salary on this. I thought Seth was going to try and cash in at SummerSlam, and then that's when we hit the Tribal Chief music.
Oh, you think he got brought back early?
Yes, I think without a doubt he got brought back early.
Oh,
yes.
I didn't think he got brought back early because I thought we were getting him in Saturday Night Main Event unless they literally called.
Well, I mean, we're technically only 2 weeks away, so it's not like they called him back 6 months early. But I have a feeling that's why I believe it's true what happened to Seth as well. I think they're like, oh, we got to put all hands on the deck now. Like we need him back quicker than SummerSlam.
Yeah, I mean, this is why this is good again.
Right, because it's believable. It's all believable.
It's all believable, and it could have gone 3 different ways, and we don't know. Which is why I really want to see this show that they're doing about the behind the scenes, because I do want to see how that process works out. But I just wondered if we were getting this as a 6-man tag, and then Seth could still cash in the next night, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's possible. Yeah, because Seth's done it before on both nights.
Right, and I could see them wanting to do that because you give Seth a really big, well-deserved not push, but almost like a recognition of look, you've done the dirty work for the better part of 3 years, 5 years, whatever you want to say, and you wrestled hurt basically to keep the Cody story going, and now we're gonna give you a win in this triple threat, and then the next night we're gonna make you the champion. I could see that, but yeah, that's interesting too. I didn't think that they pivoted and decided to bring him in a couple of weeks earlier. I just thought we were getting him heading into it because they didn't really have anything for Jay. I guess where I was wrong is I thought he was coming in and was going to get involved in this Samoan thing, but that doesn't seem to be what's going on.
Yeah, I think they brought him back early. It's only 2 weeks early, but I do think they brought him back early. Yeah. And the thing is, too, they better not try and negotiate his contract now. Pay that man what you owe that man. Because once again, he's back to save your ass. And I mean, it's not the best right now, but it'll be cool, Would be cool. Back to the SummerSlam card. After that, so we did all that. We talked about Gunther and Punk, right? You said yeah. We both said Punk. Yeah.
Yeah, so Punk, um, Ripley. I went Ripley on the triple threat, and then I guess we're up to Becky and Lyra.
Yep. Uh. I think Lyra wins based on the help from Bailey. What are your thoughts?
I I don't know. I think I think this could be Becky because like the stipulation that like Lyra can't challenge again as long as Lynch is champion. Okay, well that could be that could be 3 years and that could be 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not really a big stipulation.
No,
Um, I feel like it could be Becky again. I just like I don't know.
that's fair. All right. Next year. After that, we got RK Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul.
I mean, I think this is gonna be Randy and Jelly Roll.
You mean RK Roll?
RK Roll. It's such a like weird thing.
Yes.
I get it. It's just like a
Did you hear Drew on
kind of guy.
Paul's podcast
Which part? I've seen a couple of clips, but
that he feels sorry for everybody he has to work with because they don't look like actual wrestlers? They look like guys that should be working at fast food joints.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I did hear. Was it who was it McAfee talking about it that like Jelly Roll basically moved to the performance center and he's been training with like Jacob Fatu and like a bunch of other guys like
Did you
in
hear
LA he's
who
training.
who his first coach was?
I did, but it's like escaping me now.
Taker and his
Kevin Owens.
wife. KO Taker and
Taker.
his wife.
Yes. Yes, I did hear that. Taker, Michelle, Kevin Owens, and then Jacob Fatu
Fatu.
came in and rolled around for 3 hours in the ring with him. I'm like, oh, you wrestled with him for 3 hours? You're lucky you're still walking.
Yes.
Like okay. I'm like, I can't imagine that guy like trains any less intense than he wrestles.
Oh, he's just an intense person, right? He probably
But I
still
mean,
does that head shake thing while he's training.
I guess they're both former felons, right? So they got that in common. So
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, wild. Yeah. I mean, I did hear that, and like the Undertaker and Michelle thing, I was like, well, that's cool. Like, right? Because you get a lot of like insight. Like,
Well,
obviously, Taker's probably not rolling around in the ring with you, but he's giving you a lifetime worth of like knowledge and like
advice, yeah.
pointers. I'm sure.
Well, and let's
And
be
then,
honest,
yeah,
they were probably there for the LFG stuff as well, right?
yeah,
Because so
yeah.
it only made
But
sense,
then right, but then Kevin comes in and is bumping with you allegedly,
right?
like even though
Right.
I'm not really sure his status, but like he's doing stuff with you. I'm sure he's
Right.
doing some stuff. And then Jacob Fatu, like out of nowhere, it's like, oh, and Jacob too. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Only like among the hottest act in their company right now. Like,
Yeah, and the
and
craziest in the
sitting
ring.
there,
Yeah.
right? And you're doing a 3 hour session with him. Like, all right, I guess it's right. It's true. You are like devoting 100% of your time to this, and that's great. Hopefully, it looks
It pays off.
really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like training for a
it's
death
still a weird
match.
match,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I guess it's a throw in. I thought I read like that. Um, was Travis Scott supposed to be involved somehow, and Jelly Roll's been kind of replacing him. Like
Yeah.
it was going to be Travis and Drew maybe versus I don't know Randy and somebody. Or no, Travis and Drew. I mean, yeah, Travis and Drew versus Randy and Jelly Roll. Like I think, I don't know,
Yeah.
but Travis Scott is not putting in the time, so he's like terrible.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah. If you're gonna show up and you want to do this, then you gotta do it right. Like you can't half-ass it. Like you can't go to any other job and half-ass it and expect to keep it. So if that's the case, I'm glad they went the way that they did. But yeah, it should be cool. After that, we have the IC Championship match: Dominic versus AJ. I think AJ takes this.
I do too. I agree with you.
So far we're only different on two of them. Women's tag team match of Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss.
I am going to stick with Judgment Day on this. I think I know where you're going, but I'm going to stick with Judgment Day.
Where am I going?
Well, you thought it was going to be them at Evolution, so I assume you might carry that over to SummerSlam. You thought it was going to be Bliss and Flair.
Yeah, I think Judgment Day is going to lose all of its titles. Yeah, I think they're going to be back to nothing again. And I think it's going to.
If AJ's going to win, and then I wonder if they're going to set that up for Finn and AJ. Right?
Yeah, which will be awesome. I'm here for that. Give me that any day of the week. I'll take that. I just think this plays into the storyline that Roxanne may not be cutting it then, because if you watched even last night, Roxanne had to come in and save, or sorry, Raquel had to come in and save Roxanne from getting pinned by Bailey. So, you isolate Raquel, all of a sudden it's 2-on-1, Flair and Bliss versus Roxanne. As much as I think Flair or Roxanne is great in the ring, I think they overwhelm her in Judgment Day loses all their titles, and then I think they're either keeping both of their titles or they're losing all of them. I don't think they're splitting it. So I'm gonna go with the fact that they have no titles by the end of SummerSlam. Um, and I just think that starts to splinter that crack even a little bit more of like baby Finn says Raquel has to go or something then, right? Like, so who knows? And the final one that's set for the card is U.S. Championship Solo versus Jacob Steel Cage match. Who do you got?
I mean, I think Jacob. I just think Jacob takes it back here. I don't think
Yeah.
the story ends at SummerSlam in general.
You think we get Big J here?
Down. Um,
I think we get Big J helping out Jacob.
Probably something like that. I mean, I don't think the Samoan part of this is over, right?
No.
So,
But I don't think we see Roman on this.
no, I don't think you see Roman on this. I think Roman, I mean, I'm sure we still have matches to go. So, it's going to be, this is only 9 matches. There's going to be more
Yeah.
than 5 per night. I think there's going to be, well, actually, maybe not. But I think there's going to be 5 or 6 per night. So I think we have 2 to 3 more matches to go to set up. Roman, I'm sure, with somehow involved with Braun and Bronson Reed. I assume we're not done with Karrion and Sammy. I think that's probably going to something for SummerSlam. Probably something with some crazy stipulation. Um, so that's another 2 matches there. So that would bring us to 11. What else isn't on there? There's no men's tag team matches on this card yet either. So as like championship. So maybe something there.
Yeah, that could be added. To be honest, I really don't care about the men's. Like it just.
But I think we still have like 3 matches to go. I bet you're gonna get 6.
I mean, technically, you could put the Wyatt 6 up there then, because they have the belts.
Yeah, I think the yeah, I think there's something.
Um. So yeah. So yeah, all right, not bad. So we're different on three of them. We're different on the women's tag team match, the women's IC match, and Cody versus Cena. That's what we're different on. Everything else so far stays the same. Um, so the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, did you see Eric Bischoff's comment?
I did. The clip
One
about TNA.
TNA Wrestling is one broadcast deal away from major success, ahead of AEW.
One TV deal in 1 year, 12 months.
What are your thoughts? Because I've been saying this just based on what I've watched through the app for quite some time now. So if Eric wants to give B some credit on it, I'll take it. But God forbid he gives me a shout out.
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's wrong, right? Like, I think he's, the caveat of the TV deal makes the biggest difference, obviously.
Yeah.
And then what they do with that opportunity if they get that deal. And in that clip too, or in one of the clips, right? Like, he makes a point to say too that, what is number two, right? It also depends on how you determine what you think number two is. Is it going
Yep.
to be attendance? Is it revenue?
Right.
Is it ratings? Like, there's a lot of different ways to look at that. So, but I think it's at the end of the day, a year from now, when people are going to try to, like, freezing cold take him and see if he was right, they're going to look at it and use just a gut feeling. Does
Yeah.
TNA feel bigger than AEW as far as, is it better attended? I don't think wrestling fans really care how much money it's making or not making. Is it better attended? Is it more, is it more of must see TV, right? Like, do you want to watch it more than you want to watch AEW?
Yep.
Or do you find yourself paying attention to it more than anything else other than WWE? And also, do you, um, is it something you're hoping comes around to your town so you can go to it? Um, so yeah, I mean, I think it's possible, and obviously too, they have the deal with WWE to help. Like, they're getting the crossover, they're getting a little bit of a push from having that crossover, and they don't always have to do it, but you know, it doesn't hurt. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you
I
think?
mean, I think
Yeah.
I certainly think it's possible.
Do you think um we ever see AW do a rebrand like TNA did back in early 2024?
AEW, yes, I do. I think it happens if the Young Bucks and, like, Kenny leave,
Correct. Agreed.
right, at some point, right?
To,
Like, or
to
maybe just even the Young Bucks,
I was
because
just gonna say that. Yep. I think.
I think Kenny's kind of moonlighting at this point.
Yep.
You know, between his long-term health in
Yep.
general and everything else he likes to do, I think he's just moonlighting and wants to have some big matches here and there, and probably does a little bit in the background, but not much. So if Matt and Nick Jackson leave and just go back to whatever they used to do, or if for some reason they're going to WWE, I could see some sort of rebrand for sure.
Yep. Agreed.
Only because it's like the old guard is gone. Now it's going to be the new guard, whatever that new guard is.
Agreed. Yeah, I think so too as well. I think that's the problem is the Bucks. I just I think they just need to go. Even if it's back to Japan. Like I just think they need to go. But it'll be interesting. Yeah, cuz I mean Have you watched any TNA lately, or in the past 6 months or so?
Not consistently, but I keep up with it online, social media, stuff like that.
So obviously they have storylines, right? Because they're doing the back
Right.
and forth with NXT. That's one thing that AEW doesn't have. Talent depth. Who would you give the nod to? If you're looking solely just
Significant.
like, if you're talking about talent, the depth of talent. If you were looking at this like a fantasy football roster, who would you give the edge to?
Um, I think you still, for now, have to give it to AEW as far as like when I think of talent too. It's not going to be just like in ring talent, but like recognition, name recognition. Um, a lot of wrestling fans aren't only going to base it on like pure wrestling ability, right? They need
No,
they need characters too.
it's who
Um,
you can bring in as well, right? Like it's what these characters bring in.
yeah.
I,
So roster versus roster. I mean, I think AEW still has the edge for now, at least. Um, they keep losing people though, and that's going to change pretty quick because it's going to take more than one or two guys, and just some older, well-known WWE guys to keep it going, right? Like, um, I read that report that allegedly WWE is interested in Private Party and Danhausen, which
mhm.
I probably said on this podcast in the beginning that I'm not sure I could ever see Danhausen going to WWE, but if
I can in
WWE,
NXT. Like if they just let him roam
well, I
around in
could see him main
NXT.
roster because I think they just, you know, he can do his gimmick and bring in a little bit of levity to their main shows, and of course they could always throw him with Punk whenever they want something to talk
Mm-hmm.
about. So um, I can see it anywhere in their brands, but yeah. So for now, I think right now, I think you still give, in my opinion, AEW gets the edge on the roster, but TNA is going to get the edge on, I think, story, general.
And production.
I don't watch enough of either of them to like really talk about like wrestling ability. I'm sure both though have really good wrestlers in general,
Yeah.
but storyline wise, it's like I don't know. I just don't see a lot of storyline that I care about coming out of AEW. So that's a problem.
Looking at both rosters online, it's close, man. Like it is close. It's a lot closer than I bet like anybody wants to admit to as well. Like it. So that'll be interesting. Yeah, I hope they get a good deal. I think the problem with the deal is, oh, I've been saying this forever, and you could go back 6 to 8 months in our podcast, and there is one I talked about TNA, and I thought TNA was the better product than AEW then. Um, I think it depends who the deal's with, right? Like, do they do like a Saturday afternoon show like Ring of Honor used to do on Fox? Do they do it like a Saturday 10 a.m. show? Or is it like a Friday late, like 10:30 show on some streaming service, right? Like, do they somehow get onto like Hulu or Peacock or Paramount or something like that, right? Like, I think
Right.
that is a big thing that could take them to the next level. Because I think that also that same thing could kill them as well. Right. So it's interesting. But I'm glad that Eric Bischoff is finally, riding my coattails because I've been talking about this for a while now. So thanks, Eric. Um,
Not bitter at all.
no, not at all. Um, Also, did you see this? The rumor that Goldberg coming to AEW for another retirement match against MJF.
No, really?
I guess he was doing a busted open interview, and he said, "Have you seen me on the Rosie O'Donnell as a child? Do you remember the two names of my favorite pro wrestlers when I was a kid?" And I stated I was a very young, small 5-year-old child. The Rock and Goldberg. If Goldberg wants him, I'm right here, but I will embarrass him. I will demolish him. I will snap, crack, and pop every single tendon, ligament, and bone in his stupid old busty body. You know who's next? Nobody, because I'll be the last. So if he wants a proper send off, he should be facing a generational talent. I'm right here if he's interested, but A, I'm gonna need to be paid a lot of money if you want to see this match, and B, I would imagine he doesn't come cheap either. So a lot of stars have to align for that. But it was talked about on Busted Open. So if this was talked about on Busted Open, there has to be some smoke somewhere.
No. I don't know, maybe, but I feel like MJF is just like
But that's such a random thing for Busted
capitalizing.
Open to bring up. He didn't bring that up though. Busted Open brought that up. That's what I mean. Those guys are in contact with that company like constantly, or they were until they pissed Tony off. But like,
Fine, I want to find the like. Trying to
uh,
find like exactly how it came up.
so the subject of potential Goldberg appearance in AEW was floated during MJF's Busted Open interview, prompting a fiery response from the former AEW champion. This was July 22nd, 2025. So I guess today he was on there. I didn't catch it because I don't have the subscription anymore. But can you imagine? Which brings me to the next point. Let's just jump right into this because this is the final thing I had, Dan. We
Yeah,
kind of started talking about this before we got in the show. Goldberg complaining again. What are your thoughts?
I don't get it, man. Like I don't get it at all. Like I said to you off air, like him and Bret Hart are made for each other in certain ways because like they just can't let shit go.
Like,
Yeah.
what? Um, I'm trying to think now how to put this. Who do you think Goldberg thinks he is? Like, on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Like, who do you think he thinks he like? Do you think he's like The Rock or Stone Cold or Shawn Michaels? Like, who do you think his ego will lets him think he is? Because that's the only thing that makes sense is like he thinks like that he takes that 167 or 176 record in O as being a real record.
I don't know what.
Like, do you think he's like he thinks he's like Stone Cold? Like, do you think he thinks he's like? I don't understand. Like he admitted on a podcast previously a few years ago that like yeah he came out, he would do his corner moves, he would hit you with a spear, jackhammer, he would collect his check and go home. So he openly admitted that he only has 5 to 7 moves that he does, right? Like he realizes he's not an in ring guy like Dean Malenko or Chris Benoit or Eddie Guerrero, right? Or Kurt Angle. He's not that guy. So like is he the guy that's peaked in high school and everybody else is like out getting bastard degrees and becoming a doctor and like an attorney and like he's the guy thinking remember when I scored that touchdown in the state championship? Like is that what we're looking at right
No, I
now?
think he's. I mean, no, I think he's a little bigger than that, right? Like because,
So
but I think
all right, so
to
where do
use
you think
your
he ranks? Yeah, because I want to hear
well,
your
I mean,
explanation.
to use your your metaphor, like he's more than the guy that scored the touchdown. Like he went and at one, he's the guy. I mean, he won a Super Bowl 30 years ago, is what he is, right? So he's not Tom Brady, right?
Is he Eli then?
He's Aaron Rodgers, I think. Right? Like
Yeah, I mean,
very very good in the industry, right? At one time, you know,
good is
it's weird
loose,
to
but
make the
sure.
comparison. Well, I mean, it's weird to make the comparison because obviously it's like scripted, but like,
Yeah. Well,
you know,
and Goldberg only did
he
5 things.
well, so did John Cena. So, I mean,
But
he's
John
not
Cena
the
showed that he could do more. Goldberg
yeah.
ends Bret Hart's career because he
I mean,
can't throw a super kick. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is just crazy to me.
well, whatever. I mean, he reached the pinnacle
Yes.
at some point,
Yep.
right? But the difference between him and most of the guys that reached the pinnacle 30 years ago, 25, well, 30 years ago,
Yep.
basically, let's say now, 96, so
Yep.
29 years ago, is he didn't have any history before then, right? Like, he came in, he had his thing, and he reached his pinnacle. And then what came after that was all based on the lore of what he was in 96 or whatever year, right? I'm just going to keep saying 96.
98, he won the title against Hogan.
98, right? So
July
98.
6th. Yep.
So, you know, from 96 to 98, let's say, he does the whole 172-0 or whatever it was, right? He gets to Hogan, he wins the belt. Then, you know, whatever, that goes for a while, and then everything goes to shit with WCW.
Mm-hmm.
He shows up to WWE, and all he's doing is riding the lore of what he was previously.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of being the guy that scored the high school touchdown, like the Al Bundy of WWE, right? Like Al Bundy from Married to Children,
Yep.
always talking about that
Yep.
one touchdown in high school. He's a little bit more than that, but the problem is he never really reached the pinnacle again. Like, yeah, I'm sure he won championships and things like that, but like it was never like great, right? So all he's ever known for is what he's celebrated for is what he did 30 years ago. And I think he still thinks that what happened during the Monday Night Wars is still super relevant today. And it's not that it's not relevant today. It's not necessarily irrelevant either. It's just a golden age of wrestling that we all look back on as like a great time in wrestling that may never be replicated ever again. And he was a part of that. So he's like, I don't know. I don't know what he is. Like, he's like the
He
box
must think
office
he's.
movie star that only had one major hit, but still goes around to every Comic Con in the world and wonders why their line doesn't have 100 people for their autograph. It's like, dude, you were in 16 Candles 50 years ago. Nobody cares about that movie
I
anymore.
just.
But yeah, you were iconic at the time, but then you did nothing after that, right? Like,
Yeah, That's the thing I don't understand is like how he's like where he views himself, right? Because like, what do you say? Let me pull it up. Like he felt it was his retirement match was not handled in a way that honored his legacy, leading to frustration and public complaints. Seems to believe he was treated unfairly despite receiving opportunities others didn't, including a retirement match. I guess there's videos of him displaying anger backstage and he yelled at a cameraman.
yeah, no, I mean, I think he's just
He's just an asshole.
obviously he thinks he's more important than he is, but the problem is like he hasn't moved on from what he did so many years ago, and he thinks that's what still makes him relevant today. And that's not what makes him relevant today.
No.
What makes him relevant today would be if he could capitalize off that lore, but he can't because he's not the same guy. He doesn't have the same rest. Like he obviously can't wrestle the same way, and they don't. He wasn't full time. Like he was better off when he would. Although I'll never forgive them for what they did to the Fiend with him, but like like he's better off in that kind of situation where he sort of Brock Lesnar's it, where he comes in, he spears a guy, and he pins him, and he just drops it later. But like, I don't know. I don't know.
You see, Kevin Dash stood up for him.
What did he say?
He basically I guess there's people going at Goldberg for actually getting a retirement match and how he did in the retirement match, and he said all those people that are coming at him are people that never actually had an effing wrestling match in their life, and he basically talked to Goldberg about training, and he was trying to convince him to get stem cell to get him through his training and all this other stuff, blah blah blah. But so it was more of um I don't know. It was more of
I
like
mean, I kind of see Kevin's point,
it was more of grace
but
of like
also
he
like
deserved a retirement match rather than, and I think Kevin might have said that prior to Goldberg going on that podcast and complaining afterwards, I guess, right? So I don't know if that changed on Kevin's part from what I can tell.
yeah.
But Dave Greco went in on him and pretty hard and said, "I don't. I'm." After Goldberg was given what he's given, no more Goldberg. I don't want to see him. I don't want to hear him. I don't want any more tributes or ceremonies.
Well, I think the
Go
problem
away.
is like I
You're
think the
done. He said.
problem is like just Goldberg's like
I think it's the way he
way of
went
like
about it, right?
saying it.
Yeah,
Right. Like he was just like there was like there was almost like zero appreciation at all.
right. There was no thank
You
you,
know?
nothing. Right. It's just kind of like not. Hey, I wish we had 6 months. I would have wished to do this a different way, but it was kind of just
And not for nothing, like, it seems like maybe the match ran a little long or the show ran a little long. So like he was a little mad about like getting cut off on his like whatever, his little speech there, but like, okay, well, you guys should have cut your match 3 minutes short then. Like, you knew you were on a hard deadline. Like, it, like that I didn't like in his comments either about like, oh, it's they could have gotten 3 more minutes. No, they can't. It's NBC. Like, they're not getting 3 more minutes. They're not doing an overrun like that. Like, gone are the days of Monday Night Wars where they did overruns on purpose. Like that doesn't happen anymore. Which again, that's again him living in 30 years ago, right?
yeah. No, I listen. You don't gotta tell me. I agree, brother. I just don't know who Goldberg thinks he is. Like that's kind of where I'm befuddled on all of this. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. But anyways, not to end this podcast on a negative note, but there's something that you've been following with like a dog with a bone. Well, let's talk about it. Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah.
Oh, first of all,
Dog with a dog with a bone. I mean, come on,
you've
that's
been
a big
following this.
story.
Yeah, he's not dead yet, Dan, so it's not a big story. Um,
Well, that's the point. Not yet.
um,
I actually saw that there was a parody account for WrestleOps, and it said, "Breaking news: sad to report that Hulk Hogan has been found alive."
did you see? So they did one that said some people watch AEW, some people watch WWE, some people watch both, but nobody watches Goldberg, and they sent that to him afterwards. But anyways, um, side note: did you see Becky getting pissed at fans that are bringing signs calling her Be- Becky Hogan because she just shows up and gets a creative control title shot? So then, supposedly her like clothes back and forth, like that's why she's been in primarily red or yellow for the past 3 weeks because she's been like feeding off of it with them then, and like there's videos of like her getting into like you know verbal altercations with fans based on it of like arguing. It's kind of
I
funny.
haven't seen
Like
that.
it, and if she is truly like doing the red and yellow clothing to like feed off of it to like just piss the fans off anymore, like that's brilliant, brilliant.
I mean, that part's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
brilliant. But yeah, all right. So back to Hogan, Hulk Hogan. You know what? Then I'll let you run with this because you have it.
Well, we don't really know what's going on with Hulk Hogan. What we do know, the only thing we do know is that he, at some point within the last few months, went into the hospital for a surgery. We know he left the hospital, and we know he went back to the hospital, which at the time they said was just routine and more just related to going too hard after having a surgery, a neck surgery, or whatever he had, uh, and had to go back for just some like routine and normal like recouping. That was several months ago, I think now, almost 2 months ago. And we have not seen him. We have not heard from him. We have not been given an update on him in all that time. His Instagram is still posting stuff, but nothing with him. He has had personal appearances that were scheduled that his kids or his son and other people have shown up to, Jimmy Hart, but not him. His people have not said a word. But in comes Bubba the Love Sponge to give us relative daily updates on his show using a source he has that he says is close to the situation, saying that at one point Hogan was on life support, that he was uh, bound, he was bed bound, couldn't couldn't get up, may die. You know, no one on his team is disputing it. Of course, nobody is confirming it either. They're just saying nothing. And I haven't gone back to like completely scour it, but I don't even think Bischoff has commented, which is a little surprising to me that Bischoff hasn't said anything.
Yeah, because they got that
Um,
brand new company together.
well, and that's coming up soon, and they just and I don't know, is it purposeful? Was it going to happen no matter what? But I did think it was interesting that they signed Kurt Angle to it now to like be an ambassador of it, not to
Nice.
be like not to wrestle, but
Yeah, he can't. Yeah, but
in
yeah.
my head, I'm sitting there going, "Is Kurt because Hogan's not going to be it?" Because I think it's debuting like in the next week or two, isn't it? I think their
Mm.
first event is like soon. Um, so the last time, and so I take my last statement back, but Bischoff commented about a month ago, I believe on the pod, that said the body can handle only so much anesthesia over a certain period of time, and he's had a lot of anesthesia. I think between that and some of the prescription medication he was on coming out of surgery, it just kind of combined and set him back a little bit. But his prognosis is good. The rumors of the family gathering in the hospital, that part was just bullshit. But yeah, he had a bit of a setback because of the neck surgery, but he's going to kick out like he always does and he'll be fine. Now, that was a month ago. He hasn't said anything since, and no one on Hogan's team has said it. And when I say like they haven't said anything,
It's been
they
radio
haven't even
silence.
been like
Yeah.
right. It hasn't even been like respect his privacy,
Right.
right? It's nothing.
until today when
So until today, well, I don't think they've said anything, but
Jimmy Hart did.
until today, did he actually comment?
He said Hulk is doing great, doing phenomenal. Last night at karaoke with Nick was absolutely fantastic, baby.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't put
No,
much
right,
into
but that's the
credibility to
first.
Jimmy Hart is telling the truth there.
No, I know that, but
Um,
I'm just saying, like, that's the first, like, semi Hulk related thing.
yeah,
But then he just jumped to his son right away, so who actually knows? And
yeah.
the real American wrestling, or whatever this is called, I feel like. Sorry,
Real
Real
American Wrestling.
American
Real
Proud
American
Boy
Freestyle.
Freestyle Wrestling, or Proud Boy
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
2.20,
I think you
whatever.
added a couple
No,
of
I don't
words,
think
but
so.
okay.
What is this? Or Project 2025? I forget. But anyways,
Oh Jesus. Anyway,
August the 30th they start, and they got their TV deal from Fox News Station or whatever. That's what they're on.
yeah, Fox Nation.
Yeah, Fox Nation.
There you
Yeah. So yeah. So I mean that we have. I guess I don't know, man. Like, what's
go.
the
Yeah.
point?
So I mean,
Like, if it's that. I don't
Bubba's
know.
most recent update was that Hogan was secretly taken out of the hospital in like a private, like unmarked ambulance and brought back to his house where he is now convalescing with his medical care being done directly at the house in a hospital bed and cannot speak due to damage to his trachea. Uh, but I guess obviously no longer on life support, so I guess that part's good. So I have no clue what's going on with him, but eventually he's gonna have to come out. Like, and even if his prognosis has been good all along, he's definitely been in the hospital. So I can't imagine what the atrophy is going to be like for him. So he's going to look
Drastically to
crazy,
you.
like, yeah, drastically different because all of that muscle mass he just is going to immediately lose over 30 days of not working
Well,
out
did you see
and
the
waiting.
tweet? Yeah, that he's been right, like
Oh,
twice a day, 3 days a
yeah.
day. Did you see the Instagram story from his wife Sky on July 11th?
No.
He's no, he's definitely not in a coma. His heart is strong. There was never any lack of oxygen or brain damage. Dot dot dot. None of these rumors are true. He's been recovering from a major 4-level anterior cervical discectomy and fusion, ACDF, which is an intense surgery with a long layered healing process. If you look it up, you'll see what the last 6 weeks have involved, not just for the spine, but also his vocal cords and the eating/breathing tubes that are clamped over during surgery. We've been in and out of the hospital to support that recovery, so there's truly no need for drama or panic. Some people try to stir it up. He's healing, and we're taking it one day at a time with love, strength, and peace. So that's the closest thing that we got to somebody saying what the surgery was, how intense it is, and then why we haven't heard from him specifically. Because she did say that they clamped the vocal cords, the eating, and breathing tubes.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, I don't know. And this is a bigger cover up than the Epstein files. Jesus. Let's see. So I guess during the surgery, the surgeon gently retracts the trachea and esophagus to reach the cervical spine. That's the breathing tube is inserted for general anesthesia, which keeps the airway open. There's swelling, hoarseness, difficulty swallowing, and rarely significant swelling. In most cases, there's no permanent effect. Rare complications like scarring or persistent nerve injury can cause an ongoing swallowing or voice issues, but breathing problems long term are very rare. So can damage the breathing tubes, but the surgical approach near the airway cause swelling or irritation that might affect breathing or swallowing in short term. Yeah, I don't know, man. Why not post a picture of him giving a thumbs up then or something? Like, is it too afraid because that's what he looks like? Like he's not the size
Yeah, I
he
mean,
used to be.
I think my guess is that he's going to look so different that they're afraid to post an actual picture because people are going to maybe even speculate even worse because like it, because even I mean, look, even at his age, he was pretty huge for his
Yes.
age
Mm-hmm.
before this happened,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you look at him from like the convention last year, like he was still like looked like he was in great shape and his arms were huge and all
Yeah.
that. Like so I would imagine he's lost a ton of that muscle mass, so he's not even going to look like himself, you know, most likely.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, man. I don't know. It is interesting. I don't
And
know.
someday I'm sure we'll find out. Oh, and also just my parting thing. CM Punk's, making the podcast, in the interview
Rhea did too, right?
circle with Rhea. Yeah, him and Rhea, and then him alone and Rhea alone, I think. But whatever podcast he was on, he mentioned that someday he'll write a book, and I just want to say I can't wait for that book to come someday.
Yeah, that's the thing. I know he says that, but do you think we'll get one?
Yeah, see why not?
Yeah, I hope so.
It's an easy money maker for him. Easy money maker.
Yeah, he was so well. His wife's books sold a ton.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yep. Yep.
you know, yeah, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. But yeah, so what are you looking forward to, Dan? What are we thinking? We thinking SummerSlam all the way. What are we looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, like the summer, that's the next thing to be interested about. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it'll be interesting. Hopefully, we do better. Well, hopefully, I do better on these picks that I have for SummerSlam than I did on the women's PLE because that was terrible. Couldn't believe I was that far off. But so, all right. Well, we should be back next week then, barring any crazy changes. Let's see. Go back and watch NXT tonight. That's always going to be good because we got the Undertaker and Trick. God knows what for, but we have it, so let's enjoy it. Oh, sadly, WWE Hall of Fame legend Ozzy Osbourne passed away.
yes,
75, 76. Crazy. Let's see what else is going on. SmackDown Friday. Some TNA this week as well. And AEW stuff. Just keep watching wrestling. There's so much of it to watch. Go back and watch. And HBO Max added the 2019 AEW archive episodes. So, like the beginning, 2020. And then they skipped to 23 and 24. So they're not all on there yet, which was interesting, I thought. Because you would think if you have them all, why not throw all the old ones on there? You know what I mean?
you would think, but
So I don't know if they're with somewhere else or there's a partnership thing happening or whatnot, but should be interesting. But there's plenty of wrestling to watch. So Go watch wrestling. Go play 2K. There's another DLC due out this coming week. There's a new code to get Bloodline. You could get a Bloodline member in Sapphire, I want to say. I forget the code, but it's up and it's good until August 6th. Go do that. Go enjoy wrestling. Go enjoy all that we have to see. And don't be a Goldberg and start complaining about it. But until then, next week, adios, folks.